All right, guys. Today we're talking about my favorite character in Overwatch. It's my favorite. She's my favorite. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I do not. I do not like her saying I am. I do not like her saying I am.
Symmetrical.
Anyway, so strap your boots in, put your seatbelts on, because this is gonna be a long one. Not really,
This is actually the shortest.
but it's gonna be a lot of information we're gonna talk about. So anyway, let's start talking about usual stuff, pros, cons, strengths and weaknesses, that kind of thing. What she's supposed to do on a team, and just kind of how I play her and how I think she should be played, and how stupid I think she is. And I'm just kidding. Everything's good. She's great. She's perfect. So some things that need to be said off the bat. Weaknesses. She is slow. It's really, really slow and has no way to get away from people. Just like we talked about with Soldier 76, all other than Soldier has a sprint move to be able to run. She just runs, and that's it. And it sucks. But she's very, very invaluable to a team. So, with that being said, I think that she, if played correctly, can be a insane asset to a team. I don't enjoy playing her very much because I don't enjoy her playstyle. But that doesn't mean that anybody else should not enjoy playing her because she can be a really big annoyance, as you can tell with me setting up 3 traps in a little room that people have to go in, and it's very annoying to other teams, especially if you're the person trying to actually get through it. So, if we're going to talk about one thing too, she is 100 times better on defense. It's mainly because she works well at setting up a defense for people to have to go through. And when you're attacking, the defensive team doesn't have to go anywhere. They just have to stay at a point. So it makes it really hard to set up your turrets to be able to kind of make these choke points, essentially, where you can put this damage. I highlighted that for a reason because I wanted the people to see that her beam and her charged proton shot, goes through photon. What it's called, goes through Reinhardt's shield.
Oh.
Yes, she is the only character that has stuff that goes through Reinhardt's shield, if I'm not mistaken. Might be mistaken. I know everything there is to know. So, her main goal at the very beginning of the match, but when you're setting up, either if you're on defense setting up, or if you're on offense setting up, or if you're just waiting in your base for the control point to be or for you to be gone so you can do the control point. Her main goal is to spam her shield ability. So her shield ability, which is on PS4, it's R1, I believe. Other consoles, I'm not entirely sure. I think it's E for default on keyboard, and then for Xbox, it's either right trigger or right bumper. So the point of this is it has like no cooldown whatsoever. So what I do is I spam the shit out of it when I'm in the base and just keep looking at everybody, because you don't have to be accurate with it. They just have to be within your field of view and kind of within your targeting system, and you can just continuously mash the button. But anyway, this gives people a shield of 25. So that shield damage is added onto their, or added onto their life, or is it just grown onto that? I think it's actually adding 25 hit points. Yeah, it is. So they get 25 points of regenerating health, essentially. So not all characters in Overwatch regenerate health, as you will know. With the shield they have, they can regenerate the health. I think I shit all over this guy. No, I don't. He runs away. Damn it. That McCree in this game mode was pissing me off really bad, and I teabag him a couple times. But we're not going to talk about that, because it's Symmetra and she doesn't have any teabags. So, unless she's making tea. So her shield is her thing in the beginning of the game where you need to be throwing it on people, and you see how it throws them on. It kind of makes them glowy and blue for a minute and shows the kind of shield around them. So I do that until I hear her kind of give a visual or an audio cue that says everybody's been shielded. She'll say like shield matrix is activated or everyone's shielded or something like that. She'll say. So once you hear that, you're good to go. Everybody's shielded, and you ain't got to worry about it until somebody dies. Even if you die, the shield still remains active for the other people. So that's kind of a good thing as well. As you can see, well, I'm talking about the turrets real quick while I'm here as well. So the turrets will, you can place them on pretty much any surface, T-Bag, pretty much any surface except for May's ice wall. You can't put them on that. But almost any surface you can put these things on, and they can become an invaluable asset. As what I was saying before with her being on defense, you can put them in places that you know, like if you know familiarity with maps, you can put them in choke points that you know people need to go into. Like I usually like to be sneaky and do what everybody else probably does and put them in places where health packs are. So they're like, oh, I need a health pack, and they get bombarded by like 3 lasers, and then they get fucked. So, oh, it's like walking into a demon hole. Like it's terrifying. Yeah, there's a couple times where I've walked into 6 of them, and it's not fun whatsoever. They can deal 150 damage per second with 6 of them.
Oh, okay.
So 3 of them obviously is 75 damage per second, but that's per second, and they also slow you down. So when you're actually getting hit by them, they slow you down. They do 25 damage per second. So if you total those together with 6, you can only hold a charge of 3. So if you look at her bottom right corner, she's got a 1, and it keeps rotating around until it charges for another 1. So you can't just infinitely lay them. You have to wait for them to charge back up. She can only hold 3 charges, which is good, but you can place them out and have up to 6 out. And it gives you a sentry turret count right next to your health, and then we'll get into it in a second. But her teleporter count is right next to her ultimate ability, which you can only have up to 6 people go through your teleporter before the teleporter breaks.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't either. I think they might have changed that. I think it may have used to be on. It may have previously been on a timer, but I think it's been changed to be on a actual per person basis. Get shit on Reaper. T-Bag. So her
reload is when she does that fancy thing under her gun, right?
yeah, that's her reload. So she like puts the thing back into her side of her gun. Yeah, that's her reload. She's very flamboyant. She's very fancy with all of her movements.
And, like,
Yeah, she's all like,
graceful.
have a shield.
Like, super
Reload my gun. So her gun, which is her photon cannon. Now her main attack with this photon projector beam is the ability to project the beam in a way that if somebody is within range, the beam automatically locks onto them. You just have to have them in your field of view, and it'll lock onto them and it'll deal damage. As long as you keep them in your field of view, that damage will stack and keep stacking. And there's 3 levels to it. So level 1, it starts off and it deals 30 damage per second. Level 2, and you can kind of, there's a visual cue. She starts pulling her gun back a little bit, and the beam actually gets bigger as well. So when the beam is the lowest or the smallest, level 1 gets a little bit more medium. She starts pulling her gun back. It's level 2, which is 60 damage per second. Sneaky with the turrets, by the way. Nobody knew they were there for like half the game.
yeah, they're covered by that little awning.
I know, it's great. They get anyway, so level 3, she pulls her gun all the way back, and her beam gets insanely big, and it's 120 damage per second. You can melt the fuck out of people if you can just keep them in your like your actual crosshairs. Her second ability with the gun is the charged orb shot. So that shot, whenever you actually hold down the alternate fire of the gun, if you charge it up, the lowest you can do is 25 damage. The highest you can do is 125 damage when they get hit. Now, this is also something that whenever you shoot it, flies in a slow pattern, but also damages everybody that gets hit by it.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes. So if you shoot it into a crowd of people, they're all taking damage.
Great.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Not 100%.
If not, just comment below and like the video.
One thing I also like to keep an eye on and keep doing is if it ever highlights a character on your team and says R1, they don't have a shield. So just keep pushing R1 if you see anybody that has that indicator on them. Now, again, that's going to be different for other consoles. Obviously, I play on PS4, so that's the way it is. But you see all the turrets that were in there? That guy walked in there, and he was like, oh, I got it. So, now, let's talk about your teleporter, which I think is her best ability by far and what makes and breaks games for your team. Now, this thing is, like I said, only 6 allies can go through it until it breaks, and I'm not sure if that includes you. I want to say it includes you, but I'm not 100% sure. So whenever you lay it down, there's arrows that point in the direction that the people will come out of once they go into it. Now, when I first started the game, I thought you had to place one in your spawn and had to place the other one out in the thing. No. You place one, and you place it wherever you want to, and one automatically appears in your spawn. Yeah, so it's really nice. Very, very helpful, because you don't have to waste time placing one and then placing another one. Yeah, so do that, and then, you know, teammates can just keep coming through. It's good practice to learn good areas and or sneaky areas that you would like to put the teleporter, because it, as soon as you put it down, it tells the entire enemy team that you put one down. Like, it's like an audio cue. It's like one of those things, you know.
Yeah.
So it'll put you down, or it'll tell.
They have a teleporter.
Essentially, yeah, that's exactly what it does. Also, you can see on your screen where your things are. You can also see the indicator light when it came on. That means they're active. If ever it comes up with red, it'll say destroyed, and they've been destroyed. Now, if you place more than 6, say you've got charged up for 3, but you've got 6 out, and you place a new one, it'll replace the oldest one. So say you've got some over there, like, you know, by the staircase, but they've moved the payload away from there, and they're not going to be there anymore. Okay, well, if those are the oldest ones, I'll start placing more ones, and I don't have to destroy them. They'll just go away.
Yeah.
So that's another thing to kind of be aware of how many sentries you have. That way you can keep placing them. It's also good to use those in a defensive way, because you can just jump around and place those randomly, and they can just become an annoyance to the person that's fighting you, and they might focus on those more than you, so then you might be able to get away and or deal damage to them with your beam. So there's just random things that can happen, and you can go on like crazy kill streaks with the beams too, because some people ignore them damn things, and then they just get killed by your teammates shooting them, and then the beams are shooting them on top of that, and it just becomes too much damage for them to have to deal with. So all in all, she's a very technical character, and takes a lot of planning. And I personally think she's just not good on offense whatsoever. I think you have to be extremely lucky with where you place your turrets, because that's like half of her game is turrets. Yes, her shielding is great, and it's a good thing to do. Her teleporter is invaluable for doing attacking and everything like that, because if you're attacking something and you're far away from it, having that teleporter to get right back in the fight can mean winning or losing. And you'll see later on at the very end, my team wins because they're able to get back in the fight so quickly. Now, with her teleporter, it's got 200 health to it, so enemies can go around and they can find it and they can destroy it. And it also lets you know whenever your teleporter's been destroyed. Audio cues are super important in this game. One of the best characters at killing your damn turrets is Winston, by the way, because of his arc gun that he shoots. It just destroys everything around. Also, Reinhardt's really good at destroying them, because he can swoop his thing, whack his thing around, and it just, you know, just dick dangling everywhere, you know, that kind of thing. So let's go over some people that are going to be good against you and some people that are going to be bad against you. Some people that you are going to be good against is Bastion, again, because your charged orb shots travel a long distance until they hit something, or until they go out of the damn map. And if he's in turret mode, he's not going to be able to avoid it very fast, and you can just keep lobbing them constantly, and you know, keep peeking out, lobbing it, peeking out, lobbing it, and he eventually has to relocate, or he has to heal himself, and in that way he's not dealing damage. Reinhardt's also another really good matchup for you, because for one, none of your attacks can be blocked by him except your turrets. Your turrets can be blocked by Reinhardt's shield and also Winston's shield. We'll get into how Winston kind of affects you as playability, because he's one of your bad matchups. But all in all, Reinhardt's going to be a good matchup for you, because again, anything you do attack-wise is not going to be able to be blocked by him. So he's going to have to take you one-on-one, and his damage is not good enough to beat your photon beam. and you'll kill him pretty quickly. Genji also surprisingly is a good matchup for you because you can auto track him whenever he's dodging around, and also he has a hard time taking out your turrets because he has to be very accurate with his shuriken throws to be able to take them out. And most of the time they'll kill him before he can really take them out. And if you hide them well, like in buildings or little nook and crannies and that kind of thing, then he has a hard time taking them out because he has to get within the range almost to be able to take them out. So people that she's going to be weak against, obviously, yeah, it's kind of a lot, unfortunately. Pharah, because you can't fuck with her essentially from long distance. Junkrat, same kind of thing. A Reaper is going to be able to dish out the shitload of damage to your turrets, and he can get away from your turrets. Winston because of his big shield thing, and Zarya because of it as well. Roadhog is going to be kind of hard because of how much damage he's got and his hook, and you kind of being in that range with him. And Torbjorn's going to kind of be hard as well, but his turrets are not. I mean, Torbjorn just kind of has a lot of health. Anyway, all in all, I like her. I think she just takes a lot of hard work to be good. So anyway, if you like this, guys, let us know.
She's super pretty.
She is pretty.